Welcome to the GEasy Class Pack Volume 1. My name is Gudrun from GE Designs, and I'm so excited to kick off this class series with this first video. Do you find yourself searching through your fabric stash for the perfect coordinates? Do you strive to be more confident in your color combinations? If you answered yes, or just love fabric, then a subscription to Goody's Color Club is for you. Goody's Bundle Club is a quarterly subscription program with carefully curated fabric bundles by me sent right to your doorstep. I handpick every fabric in each delivery with 12 half-yard pieces, which will only be available to Goody's Bundle Club members. In addition to an exclusive Stash Builder bundle, each delivery includes a booklet of information on the fabrics I have chosen, the fabric designer, additional fabric suggestions to use with a bundle, and quilt patterns that would be a perfect pairing with the fabric. Hi, my name is Gudrun from GE Designs. Welcome to our Tipsy Tuesday show. Welcome everybody. Thanks for being with us on YouTube or Facebook. We welcome. No, it's not Friday. It feels like Friday because we're leaving town. Happy Tuesday. It's Tipsy Tuesday. Make sure you like our page or subscribe to our channel if you're new around here or haven't done so yet. We are live with you every week, twice a week, 3 times if you count our new show with Colleen. So all you gotta do is hit that red button if you're watching on YouTube. Easy peasy peasy. And make sure you comment throughout the show. Show us your love with some hearts and thumbs up. We always appreciate it. We have a giveaway at the end, so you want to stick around to answer that giveaway question to be entered into our giveaway for a $25 gift card. So let's start with our gift card. But before we check on that, on today's show, I am showing you some more tips on machine binding. Last week's tip of the day was about binding by machine, and I gave you some extra tips on top of the video that I already have on YouTube. And I think everybody really appreciated those little extras. So there's more. There's a continuum to finish the whole thing today. And then we also have a little update on our class packs and, of course, some great new fabric to show you. But last week I asked you, have you made pillows before? Because we launched our free tutorial for the beautiful take-along pillow. And our winner from last week is...
Drum roll, please.
Kathy Wismont. Kathy, congratulations. She's made lots of pillows. But I forgot to introduce my sidekick, Mr. HP, the producer extraordinaire.
Always forgets about me. That's okay.
He's here. Kobe's here. He's wondering if he really needs to stay here or if he can just go chill.
Hi, everybody.
Let's talk about our quilts. Let's start with yours because it really matches your shirt there, sir. Amelie Supersize. That was my first one that I made. I'm seeing lots more kind of pop up on Facebook as you're sharing your finished quilts. This one did a little dance this week. This one was the dancing quilt of the week.
Dancing by the pool.
Yes. We posted it on Instagram and Facebook and yeah, it was a fun song. It's kind of like doing a little, I don't know, Caribbean vibe a little bit. Yeah. Behind me, I have a new quilt. This is Ingrid. The one over my left shoulder is Ingrid. They both of these are in my book, Stripology Mixology 3. Ingrid over my left shoulder, and then Katrina over my right. Made from the same bundle. So you know how in this book I purposely made 5 sets of quilt from the same bundle so you can really mix and match, because Ingrid and Katrina were not the 2 I made in the book. I made Katrina and Tara from the same bundle, but you can definitely mix and match with all the quilts in the book, which makes it so awesome. Love getting double duty out of this one. So we took the nautical Ingrid, because that's the theme. You see the bundle. It's called Nautical. It's from Macau, UK, and took it down to the marina. Svana took it on a little field trip and let it go see the boats, and it was perfect. It was a little windy, but look how striking that is. I love that background. It is a spotted, I believe it's aluminum because it has a little bit of black specks in it. So it's a perfect color and kind of tied it all together. I love, love, love it. I don't know the quilting pattern on it. I'll have to get back to you on that one. But we have a lot of updates for you guys today. So let's just get started on all of those. First up is our Stripology Virtual Retreat. Unfortunately, we have closed our registration, and we also closed our nominations for our scholarships, sent out the notifications to our recipients, which ended up being 6 instead of 5. Yes, I couldn't make up my mind between 2, so I threw in an extra one. So the 6th spot, we contacted everybody on Friday, so please check your emails. If you nominated somebody, I know maybe somebody that was nominated might not get our email, might have ended up in the spam. So we also emailed everybody that nominated those people, so please check your emails. we still have not heard from everybody. So please check your emails, all of you chosen folks. And we want to, if we don't hear anything from you by March 1st, we will keep going down the list. There's a long, long list of very worthy recipients. So,
Ooh, that's cool.
I know. March 1st is the last chance. Okay, so we are going to be starting to ship those retreat boxes on by March 2nd. We're going to start working things through. So first week of March, probably we'll get most of it out. I wanted to let everybody know that those of you who signed up for either retreat, I sent you an email yesterday. This is about our retreat backings. We have limited offerings of fabrics that kind of match or go with your bundles in 3-yard cuts that you could use for backing. So first come, first serve. So we can actually add that to your order and include it in your boxes if you would like. So please check your emails. It should have been from me, and maybe it ended up in your spam. So check it. It's a long email with all the different options. But make sure that you email Colleen. So it's all in the email, the information, because you don't want to place these orders online. These fabrics are not on the website. We're holding them just for you guys. So first come, like I said, first serve. And then once we start shipping the boxes, we put them all on the website. All right. Any questions on that? Now I have to say, though, once we start shipping the boxes, which is going to start happening next week, please do not share anything. This is a secret. Once you receive it, you can, of course, open it, but we want it to be a secret. We want it to be a surprise for everybody. We have people joining us from all over the world, so we want to make sure that everybody has their fun surprise. It's one of the best things when we open up the boxes. I will, of course, have a full-on reveal during retreat, so after retreat, we can share all the stuff, but until then, zip it up. Trish is asking, when will we know if we get what we asked for? So if you're talking about the kits, the kit that you chose when you purchased retreat, that's the kit that you got, unless you emailed and asked for something else. So it should be in your account. You can see exactly which kit you asked for. I don't know if that's... How many scholarship nominees? Oh, they were 40 or something. Yeah, or more. I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a lot. Okay, any more? Do you see any more questions about retreat? Can we move on? Moving on. First, Rebecca's super excited because it's her first retreat. Please, it's gonna be awesome. We're so excited. We've got some new things going on. They've been phenomenal in the past, but we got some exciting new things added to this one. So I'm so excited for everybody to receive their boxes and kick off this beautiful, beautiful week of fun. Okay, let's move on to our GEasy class packs. Our volume 1, which was the Zoe and the Katrina class packs. These were, of course, video classes released weekly. And we are getting our part 3 for Zoe tomorrow. Yes, it's coming to an end. So the last piece of the puzzle will be released tomorrow. And so a lot of folks will be finishing up their Zoes. Zoe takes a little bit longer than Katrina, purposely why I chose them two together. So, give it some time. But we are going to see some amazing Zoes. The beautiful variety in fabrics is going to be so vast. And then we have all the layout options. There are, I believe, 6 or 7 in the book, different layout options. And then I threw in a few more options, ideas. And you could come up with endless other ones yourself, too. So it will be really exciting to see what people come up with and choose for their Zoes. But I actually went ahead and gather some of the photos from our Facebook group, which is acting like our forum. Everybody's sharing their progress. So these are some photos of Zoe quilts in the process. So you will see a lot of photos of Zoe blocks that don't look like Zoe blocks because it's the start of them before we chop them up. So let's take a look at some of your amazing progress in the GEasy class pack. Beautiful job, everybody. I cannot wait to see all the progress that is going to happen in the next few weeks and see these beautiful Zoe quilts come to life. It's a truly versatile pattern. Ever since I showed my version out of the Dandelion Wishes, I think we sold out of the bundle. It's just so different seeing it in different fabrics and seeing it in a different layout. It looks like a totally different quilt. So beautiful, beautiful job. All right, so it's time for a tip of the day. Tip of the day, we are continuing on with machine binding. So check out my tip of the day for today. In this tip, I wanted to give you a little more detailed information to stitch your binding down by machine. So in a previous tip, I showed you all the prep I do before I take it to my sewing machine to actually stitch it down on the front. My binding is sewn to the back, flipped to the front. I did all my pressing and I pressed over my binding all the way around, folded my corners, they're pinned and ready to go. So here is a couple of things. What you want to do is choose thread that matches your binding because you're going to be stitching the binding down from the top. So when I choose a color of thread, what you want to do is get a little bit duller and a tad bit darker color than your actual color of the binding. That is going to blend in the best. This was a little tricky because this fabric had these light strands in it, so I kind of went middle of the road because this is really not going to be seen at all in my binding. For the backing, you want to choose a different color for your bobbin. So either choose a color that matches your backing, but in this case, I usually choose a color that's similar to the bobbin color that I used for quilting. So you can see this is kind of a dark gray I used for the quilting thread in the bobbin. So because this stitch is going to be seen here right along the edge, you want to choose a similar color. So I have this dark gray, very similar to what I used. And so now if you see a seam here, it's just going to be considered as part of the stitching pattern. So that's why I chose this dark gray color. So now it's time, once you have this set up on your machine and your walking foot on your machine, you're ready to stitch your binding down. So now it's time to stitch down my binding. And I prefer to just do a straight stitch just on the inside, so it's kind of like top stitching my binding down. You can, as I showed in my previous video, do a tiny little zigzag. I only do that if I'm doing like a table runner, tabletop or something that I'm going to be looking at a lot. However, once you practice this top stitching, it's going to look really nice and neat. So one of the tricks, if you have the capability on your sewing machine, I have my walking foot on and I can see I have an edge here right in the center. So what I do, so I can line my binding edge up with the left side of my foot here, I actually can tick my needle over to the right. So I like to tick it over to the right, just 2 notches. So that means that if I line my binding edge up on the left side, the needle is going to come down a little bit to the right, so right catching my binding. But first, I like to go and plop my needle right down in that intersection where I do that manually, where my pin is. So finding that spot, and once I have that spot, I can remove my pin from the back because my machine is now holding down that fold. So I take a few stitches in the same spot here just to secure my threads. I have the same stitch length as I normally do. I have a 2.5. And then the key is just to go nice and slow. As you stitch your straight stitch, I have my clips that I just keep moving down. And now, as you can see, I'm just lining my fabric up with the outer edge, and I'm just getting a nice top stitch on my binding. And there it is, taking you all the way to the finishing part. Now, of course, key thing to a good machine binding is practice. You're not going to be great at this first time around. It takes practice, and the more you do it, the easier it gets. And so I know I'm going to have a lot of questions. Have you ever used a compensating foot on your machine when sewing binding down? For me, I like my walking foot. The walking foot makes a huge difference when we're working with so many layers of fabric. So that's why I use my walking foot and adjust from there. I know there are all kinds of binding feet available for different things. I have not tried it on my machine just because I really, really love my walking foot. That walking foot on my baby lock is amazing. So I do that. I know if you have like a dual feed foot, like FOF that's built into your machine, you can do different feet that will help align that your foot against the edge of the binding, and then the stitch is going to go a tick or two over. When you make 2 quilts in stripology, mixology 3 from the same bundle, how do you know what sizes of each you can make? And is there a particular order in which to cut the half-yard bundle? So if you're making from one 12-piece half-yard bundle, you can usually only make the lap size. So if a 10-inch square quilt takes, usually a lap size is 48 squares. So you can get 48 squares out of a half-yard, 12-piece half-yard bundle. But of course, if you use 2 bundles or a bigger bundle or add some fabrics, you can make bigger quilts. So it really depends. If one of those quilts that you're making is a 10-inch square quilt, I always cut the 10-inch squares first, and then you have that about 8 inches left of the half yards that you can cut any which way. 5-inch strips for 5-inch squares, 2.5-inch strips, 1.5-inch strips, whatever. And then even if you really study some of the patterns that are made from 10-inch squares, you may be able to use that for those patterns. In particular, or for example, Zoe. I taught them how to do that in the class pack, how you can utilize that, even though in the book it shows that it's made with 10-inch squares. But there is a way to cut it differently if you just think about it and stripologize. Stripologize. All right, why do I have such a hard time making up my mind which fabrics to use? Well, I can't help you there. I understand it. There's so many fabrics, and I change my mind a lot. I have a couple of new patterns in the works, and I think I've changed my mind 3 or 4 times on which bundle I want to use. So there may be multiples. I have trouble getting the stitching on the front so it doesn't get on the backing part. Any suggestions? You want it to get on the backing part. You don't want it to get on the actual binding on the bottom, because that doesn't look very good. It's okay if it gets on the backing. This is why I was talking about having that thread that matches the thread that was used for the quilting, because it just looks like a quilting stitch. It looks like it was part of the quilting. So as long as it blends into the back, you're always going to see it because you are machine binding. It's not a hand stitch where you hide it. So don't worry about it. I'd rather have it on the backing than on the binding, because that doesn't look very good. All right. Is this tutorial available to watch again? Yes. You can go back to our shows all the time. We have a log on our website, Tipsy Tuesday. It will show you which tip of the day is on each day. And then if you go to YouTube, it's easy because we have chapters, so you can just go straight to that chapter. Yes. Which baby lock model do I have? I have the Solaris here. We have another, I think, I don't remember it's a step down. It's not an embroidery machine. We have that at the warehouse, so I use that when I'm there. I love them both, but by far that walking foot, as you can see, is pretty large, but it has a roller, and it's like the best I've ever used. And I've used a lot because I've done a lot of quilt as you go, as you know. Do you use a 2 1/4 inch binding? Yes, that's how I cut my binding, and I sew it on with just a little bit over a 1/4 inch seam. So this is something that you should just practice and work on your machine, because for me, I just figured out where I want that seem to be, because I have my walking foot, so I don't have a 1/4 inch foot sewing my binding on, but I have a 1/4 inch line on that walking foot, so I make sure the line is fully over the edge, so it is probably a little bit over than over a 1/4 inch, but that works great for me. So it's just a matter of your machine. Find something to measure up to, practice, and see what works best. Do you use a wider fabric or a longer stitch length, or make any other changes if you make a flannel binding? I do a wider binding. Yes, it is thicker, so I usually at least do a 2.5, and then depending on what I'm using for batting or backing, then I may go even further up. And then, you know, I have done binding, or I have done flannel quilts. There's flannel on both sides, and I'm using wool, so it's pretty thick. And if the pattern doesn't go out to the edge, like if it's a border or something that really doesn't matter, I'll do a wider binding, and then when I trim my quilt, I leave a little bit of batting so that I have a thicker, like a nice thick binding. But you know, you can play with that, but definitely go up at least a 1/4 inch when you're doing flannel binding. So is the binding on the front a single layer and the back side double layer? No, so it's a double fold binding, like, you know, when you were normally sewing it to the front, flipping it to the back and hand stitching. I just sew it to the back, flip it to the front, and then top stitch it by machine. So I do a double fold binding, yes. Is a dual feed the same as a walking foot functionality? I have a FOF. No, it's not quite, because on the FOF, there's just, you know, you'll see that your foot kind of lifts, but walking foot like mine, it actually has rollers, so it actually really moves the fabric through, just like your feed dogs. But a regular foot that has a dual feed really just like, it kind of walks a little bit, but really doesn't have any function of really moving the fabric. But it's still, it's a beautiful, beautiful function. I got some of the grays from last Wednesday. I was told at one point when I was going to use gray for background, it would muddy some of the colors I was going to use. Are there some colors that shouldn't be used with grays? No, I don't agree with that. However, as I've said in many times talking about grays, there are way more than 50 shades of gray. There are so many shades of gray, because you can have a gray that has a greenish hue, you can have a gray that has a blue, you can have a gray that has a reddish hue, you can have a gray that's really just monochrome on the scale from white to black. So there are so many different shades of gray, and depending on what shade it is, it will make your other colors look different. So it's really sometimes a challenge to find the right shade of gray that really makes your fabrics pop, or you might want a gray that really makes them nice and blend and not be so harsh. So, and then you have the shade from light to dark. Yes, but it is one of my favorites to use because it's so versatile. Do you have the cuddle in store yet? Yeah, it is in the store. It's not online yet because we're still cutting it, so it will all be listed at the same time. It's coming soon. We've just been swamped with getting ready for Quilt Con, and then we have the retreat, and we want to get everything out of the way. So early March, you will see some cuddle, and we'll do lots of tutorials with that. Do you have a tutorial on cutting bias binding? Yes, I do. Cutting bias binding with the XL ruler. It's on YouTube, so check that out. Very easy to do. It's an awesome tutorial. You can do it both from a back quarter if you're doing just like a tabletop or something, or also from yardage. Show both. All right. Any more questions, sir? This one? I bought some beautiful jelly rolls, so now have to choose a pattern. Any suggestions? Oh boy. I have probably 20 to 30 single strip patterns, and then I have books with strip patterns. Without seeing your jelly roll, I couldn't suggest anything. It really depends on the composition of your jelly roll. Is it lights and darks? Is it mostly darks? Is it, you know? So are you gonna add some background fabric maybe? It really depends. It's very versatile too. I have a whole book called Strip Your Stash. Everything's made with 2.5-inch strips. So check it out. What's the name of the bundle from the Quilts Behind? It's called Nautical. Nautical. It really reminds me of Icelandic small towns because it is a nautical theme, but the colors and the feel of them really. I mean, we don't have beach shacks, but we definitely have shacks by the ocean like that. So not really beach vibe. Will you be getting any more of the dandelion fabrics? No, I don't think so because it came out quite a while ago. However, we have a few other bundles that have a really similar look, like Fran that came in not too long ago. That is very similar feel with the blacks and the whites and then the golds. So I will definitely be providing some other options because I know it's popular. Okay, got it. Okay, so we good on the questions? How are you cutting the cuddle? We have a few different cuts. Mostly we're sticking to what we've been doing, 3 yards and 1 yards, but some of them will be available in smaller because they're maybe specifically for kids or babies. So we'll show you everything once we have it all listed. The gray background used in Inga. We don't have an Inca. Are you talking about the Ingrid? The Ingrid, this one is called Spotted Aluminum. So it has little black specks on it. The right shade of gray, it's perfect with the cool colors of those cool blue colors. So it needed to be a cool gray. And then really to show off those whites and the reds. So they all sing on this background. All right. Let's move on. We have just a couple of things. I did mention a little bit about Quilt Con. We are heading out. GEasy is already driving the trailer down. We posted some photos of them loading yesterday. He is probably somewhere in Kentucky or so now, hopefully. But he's doing good. He likes to go by himself and drive and
down the road.
Moving on down. And we are really proud. We are sponsors this year, sponsors of Quilt Con. We have a huge booth. So our booth number is 1312. So please come see us. The only little glitch that could happen, of course, weather. Yes, weather in Minnesota. There is a gigantic snowstorm that's coming across the whole upper part of the country. And it's already kind of hit a little bit in Minnesota. It was supposed to kind of calm down and then start again tomorrow afternoon. But the rest of our staff is flying down in the morning. And so please, everybody, send some good vibes to the weather gods so that their flight can leave. Otherwise, it might just be me and Mr. HP in the booth and GEasy.
We'll get it done.
We'll get it done either way, but we really would love to have Nancy and Gara and Andrea show up. Yeah. Otherwise, that load-in won't be fun at all. But we're hoping it all works out. We're hoping, but you just never know. This happened to us before. I think that was when Quilt Con was in Nashville. And we actually got him on an earlier flight to get him down there. But yeah, it's wild. Always a snowstorm during Quilt Con. What's the deal? Do you have replacement recommendations for the chalk and charcoal hyacinth, or I can wait until it's back in stock? We have an order in, so it should be back in stock within a week or two, if you can wait that long. But I know we have a bunch of other lavenders. If you're wanting to match something, the best way is to send an email to help@gequiltdesigns.com, and we actually do and go look and find something that's similar for you. So just let us know. All right, we have some brand new, beautiful fabric today, and Kobe, you should really be introducing this line. Yeah, but you're just laying there, waiting for mommy to be done. This line is called Furry Friends, and it is novelty It is it's from Macau, UK, so very fun. But I love, it's all puppies. We have the wiener dogs, not only just regular wiener dogs. Look, they're going to a birthday party. They got their presents. They got their party hats on. They're ready to go have some fun. So this one is, I believe, it's a smaller bundle. I believe just a 10 piece. So then we have, but it's really playful and colorful. So here we have the paw prints and all the different colors. The wiener dogs and the paw prints. We have, oh, look at those puppies. They're so cute. Lots of different breeds on this bright green background. Unfortunately, there's no Kobe here, but there's a chocolate lab. And his mom was a chocolate lab, so we'll let it slide. We'll let it slide. He agrees. Then we have a really cool, colorful stripe with the greens and the blues. We have a turquoise novelty print with all the dog treats, the dog toys, the bandanas, and the leashes. And I love this polka dot background. Then we have all the pups on the pink, kind of a reddish pink background. And another beautiful stripe with the warmer colors. So the reds and the purples. Yeah, these are so cute. And then we have the wiener dogs on the lavender background. And finishing it off with a couple of black prints. We have the paws. And then all the treats and toys. But I just love the bright colors, very sharp, very fun and playful. So my fabric pull with this, we did a couple of greens. We did the Spectrastatic Lightning, so very bright green, and the dot matrix in the lime twist. So I love this bright, bright lime. For some of the blues or turquoise, the Nature Elements Ocean Breeze, and the dimples in the robin's egg, perfect matches. For the pinks, I did a couple grunge and the raspberry because it has a little lavender, so it ties in with all of those colors. And then for a little more pop, the dimples and the scorching pink. And for this tone, the speckled metallic daisy, a little more lavender. And then I did just a tad bit darker, which I thought really plays well, the flow and the dahlia color. For the black and whites, I love the grunge clear water is perfect. It has a little bit of gray, but is the same tone as this white. Or you could go with pure white, almost a pure white with a Jack's Marshmallow. It's not fully white on white, but close. And then for the blacks, I would do a grunge black dress because it has a little charcoal to it, or the bumbleberries in the basic black. So not a pure black. And a great accent to pull out that is sprinkled throughout all the prints would be a fun yellow, because it's not in any of the fabrics except for the little accent. So that will be a great accent color to throw in for some interest if you wanted to do something with a focus fabric. So this is Furry Friends, 10-piece bundle from Macau, UK. Beautiful. It's so cute. Does Kobe need a new quilt? Anything. You could do like a supersized Amelie, regular sized Amelie with a yellow. You could do a JoJo, would be really fun for a little dog quilt. And these would be so cute for baby quilts too, for little kids that love dogs, or if it's babies being born into a dog family. I think it's perfect. All right, the second line today is called Fired Up. And it's a little bit different from what the name says, fired up. I'm like, I don't know. I thought that would be like a fireman something or something in the woods making fire by, you know, but it's actually fireworks. So it's a little Americana line. I love the kind of a little bit more modern. This is from Blank Quilting. It's an 8-piece bundle, so perfect for smaller things for summer. So we have actual fireworks. Here's the effect after they're blown up, and then this is before they're blown up. Well, I guess there's in between too. But I love the fun and vibrant movement of these fabrics. Love this one, a little bit of diagonal, feels like a diagonal stripe with a dark navy and the red and the light blue on it. And we have a little bit lighter blue stars, but just a little bit different from, you know, what we see traditionally with 4th of July fabric. And this one's my favorite, of course, a no-brainer. That's a typography print. And so red, white, and boom, home of the free, USA, America the Beautiful, all the beautiful words. And then another party print. The hats and the balloons and the fireworks. Very fun. We do the stars in the red, but what I love is a different scale than these. So it really changes it up. So we have all different prints. I love that. Some of the fabric companies are starting to do that, and I really appreciate that. And then the last 8th print in the line as the large stars with the blue, and I love that there's some plaid stars in between. But yeah, some fabric companies are doing more SKUs, less colorways of each SKU, and I think that's such a forward progress. You know me, I want variety, and so having more options for SKUs is the best thing ever. All right, let's take a look at the pull. I did a beautiful dark red with a chalkboard texture. It has the dark tones and the lighter tones. And then for a lighter hue, the bumbleberries and the ladybird red. It really brings out all the light, kind of a warm red tones in the prints. For the whites, it's pretty white on white there, so Starry Night would be perfect. It could also even act as a background because, as you can see, it has contrast from these since they are the low volume but very busy. Or you could do a white on white with the loops, which works perfectly with the kind of design of the prints. And then my blues started with a lighter here, the bumbleberries and the bright coastal. And then a medium would be the spectrostatic navy. And then the darkest one, the dimples and the midnight hour. Then I found a couple of, I found a plaid and a stripe. So the plaid is awesome. So it's the red plaid. It's got the red and the navy and the white. Or the stripe from the nautical that I used for the quilt behind us. That's the line. Red, white, and blue, really great for bindings. I actually used that for the binding on the Ingrid behind us. So this is fired up. Fired up. Beautiful 8-piece line, great for table toppers, table runners, maybe some placemats, napkins for the holiday, or pennants, or just a quilt to throw on the ground to sit on, to watch the parade. Love it. Little bags for candy for the parade for the kids.
Parade or the fireworks?
Or the fireworks.
Yeah.
It's hard to do that in Minnesota. We're always got so many mosquitoes.
Oh, it's the worst. The worst.
I know. So you have to kind of be covered or covered in bug spray, either or. Okay, so we have a couple of more things that I wanted to remind you of. Tomorrow morning, we have our new Deal of the Week show called One Yard Wednesday. Colleen will be back. This airs at 9:30 Central Time, and she will have some great new fabrics for you on a super deal, and she also gives you great ideas how to use them. So make sure to catch her either live. If you want to watch after the fact, if you miss it live, it's a pretty quick show, but if you miss it, make sure you go to the website. It's all going to be in the same place. You go find under the shop button, there's a 1 Yard Wednesday page with all the fabrics, but also we will put the newest show linked right at the top so you can watch it right there. And the fabrics will be right below to shop. And so we also include it in our newsletter that goes out right shortly after the show. So hard to miss it, but some of our last week's fabrics sold out really fast, so we have limited numbers. It's a great deal, so check it out. Give Colleen some love. She did so great, and it was really fun to see our kind of shows expanding with different talents last week. We had 4 shows. Everybody was on last week. Yes,
That was good.
that was really good. All right, so we are going to finish it off today with our giveaway question. And it's simple today because we are actually loading up the car to head to Atlanta right after the show. So our giveaway question is, have you been to Quilt Con? Now, those of you that don't know, Quilt Con is a yearly quilt show put on by the Modern Quilt Guild. And so there are a little bit more modern aesthetic in all the quilts that are there for in the juried show and in the special exhibits. But of course, there's a bunch of vendors as well. And I'll be doing a little talk on Sunday. But just answer the question in the comment. You're automatically entered into our giveaway, which we'll announce the winner next week. Our next week's show, Tipsy Tuesday, will be on February 28th, 4 p.m. Central Time. But our next Happy Friday show is this Friday, which is February 24th, 12 p.m. Central Time, live from our Quilt Con booth. It'll be a different type of a Friday show. Just know that. But we'll be live, so we're excited to show you some things.
We'll be at the mercy of their Wi-Fi.
Yeah, we'll be at the mercy of the local Wi-Fi, of course. But I think everybody's excited to see and get a little taste of the energy. And so we always want to do that when we're on the road, share a little bit with you guys. So hopefully you'll come and check us out. If you are not coming to Quilt Con, make sure you watch us live on Friday, 12 p.m. Central. But that's it for us tonight. We got to go back up the car, and head on out. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you on Friday.
See you.